The air smelled like rain even though the sky was clear. I stood across the street from the building I used to call home. Same rust on the gate, same crooked mailbox. But something felt off. I whispered, "Do you think they still remember me?" Of course, no one answered, just me and the ghost of who I used to be. I crossed the street slowly. The apartment buzzer looked cleaner. New stickers. Someone had scraped my name off the directory. Apartment 3C. That used to be mine, I murmured. A woman opened the main door with a stroller and smiled politely. I caught the door before it closed. "Sorry, I used to live here," I said. She nodded. "Moved in a year ago. The last tenant left suddenly, no forwarding address." I almost laughed. That was me. Did she leave anything behind? I asked. Double quotes, no. The landlord said she vanished in the middle of the night. I gave a tight smile. Sounds about right. Inside, the hallway smelled like old carpet and paint thinner. My fingers brushed the railing as I climbed the stairs, automatic. Like muscle memory. 3 steps from the top. I paused. That's where I tripped the night I ran. My ankle had twisted. But adrenaline didn't let me feel it then. I didn't knock. I just stared at the new number plaque, different curtains behind the glass. "Not your home anymore," I whispered. I walked back out without looking back. The streets looked smaller now. The bakery on 6th was gone. A vape shop had taken its place. I sat on a bench by the river. Same bench where he used to meet me after work. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the envelope. It was yellowed. The edges curled. My handwriting shaky. Rushed to Ethan. I slid my finger under the flap and unfolded the paper. "Ethan, I don't know if you'll ever read this. Maybe that's better. I loved you. I would have done anything for you, and you knew that. That's what hurts the most, not the lies, not even Mira. But that you looked me in the eye and still betrayed me. You said I was dramatic, emotional. Maybe I am, but at least I feel. At least I never played pretend. One day, you'll think back on this, and you'll wonder how someone like me disappeared so easily. That day, you'll miss me. But I won't be here." Aria stared at the letter for a while. My fingers trembled. But not from sadness. Just release. A man walked past, glancing at the paper in my hand. "You okay, miss?" I nodded. "Yeah, just saying goodbye." He kept walking. I stood up, walked to the edge of the river and folded the letter once, twice, 3 times. "This was the last piece of you I carried," I whispered. "You don't get to live in my pocket anymore." I let it go. The wind caught it at first, then the water swallowed it. It floated for a second, mocking me, then sank. I exhaled. 2 years ago, I ran with nothing but that letter, a bag of clothes, and a shattered mind. Now I stood here, stronger, still healing, but no longer hollow. My phone buzzed. "Talia, you made it back okay?" I typed. "Yes, just needed a moment alone." Another buzz. "Talia, you sure you want to do this? You don't owe anyone anything." I stared at her message, then looked out at the water again. I replied, "I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me." Then I tucked my phone away and walked forward, not back. "Shorter," I told the stylist, running my fingers through the ends like unforgiving short. She raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" I looked straight into the mirror. "Cut it." The scissors snapped through the silence, hair falling onto the cape like old regrets. I watched it drop without flinching. "You changing something?" she asked casually. "Everything." When she spun me around to face the mirror, I didn't recognize a woman staring back. The waves were gone. My soft features looked sharper, bolder, unapologetic. "Wow," she breathed. "You look like a whole new person." I tilted my head. "That's the goal." I paid in cash and walked out into the sunlight. The city buzzed around me, horns, heels, impatient voices. I texted Talia, "Your office or mine?" Her reply came fast. "Office, you owe me coffee. Look at you," Talia said, grinning as she leaned against her desk. "I almost didn't recognize you. That makes 2 of us." She gestured to the couch. "Sit, talk. You disappeared for 2 years and now you're walking around like you're bulletproof." I sank into the seat. "I'm not bulletproof. I just finally learned where to aim." Talia raised an eyebrow. "That sounds dangerously close to a threat." "Not a threat," I said, "a mission." She crossed her arms. "You've worked hard to get your mind back. Therapy, martial arts, night classes, hell. I saw your LSAT scores. Yeah. Well, I needed tools. I couldn't come back with just wounds." Talia studied me for a moment. "So what's the plan, Aria? You gonna go knock on his door and declare war?" I smiled faintly. Nothing that messy. I want precision, silence, impact. You sound like someone who's already decided they can't be hurt again. I haven't decided that, I said. I've trained for it. She sat across from me and leaned forward. You sure this isn't about proving something to him? It's not about him, you sure? It's about me, I paused. About the girl who curled up on your couch for 6 nights straight, crying until she couldn't breathe. I remember, she said softly, she's dead. Talia frowned. Don't say that, no. I need to because that girl wouldn't be able to do what I'm about to do. And what exactly are you about to do? Finish it. Talia leaned back, arms crossed again. You talk like you're going to war. I'm going to war, I said, with a version of myself that let people walk all over her, with a silence that let lies win. You think vengeance is healing? I shook my head. No. But justice is, you still dream about it, not as much. But when I do, I don't wake up scared anymore. Good, she sighed. Still, just don't lose the version of you that cared. I haven't. I've just reprogrammed her. Talia chuckled. God, you sound dangerous now. I am. She stood. So? What's first? I pulled a folder from my bag and slid it onto her desk. What's this? Ethan's company. Filings, everything public. But there are gaps you've been digging for months, quietly. I didn't come back empty-handed. She opened the folder and skimmed through. This is surprisingly thorough. I told you, tools. She looked up. Why now? Because if I'd come back earlier, I would have cried at the sight of him. And now, I smiled, now. I hope he sees me and doesn't recognize me. Talia walked over and hugged me. Just promise me one thing, depends. Don't destroy yourself trying to destroy them. I pulled back. Talia, I already destroyed myself once. This is a rebuild. She held my gaze. Just don't let revenge be the blueprint. It's not. It's just the demolition. She laughed, even though her eyes looked worried. We stood in silence a moment before she said, well, Phoenix, let me know when you set the match. I grinned. You'll hear the fire from here.
The ballroom glittered like a light champagne flutes, fake laughs, money wrapped in designer fabric. I adjusted my black dress, smoothed my hair, and stepped inside like I belonged. I scanned the room once. There he was, Ethan, talking, smiling, commanding attention like nothing ever shattered. His arm rested lightly on Mira's lower back. Her laughter was sharp, hollow, too loud for the moment. They moved like a couple who practiced every gesture in the mirror. I whispered, still the same puppets. He didn't look my way. Good. I kept moving. Excuse me, are you with Aurora Securities? Someone asked. No, I said. Just watching the show. Mira tilted her head, eyeing a woman's earrings across the room. Same expression she used when she judged me in dressing rooms. She hadn't changed. Not even the way she clutched Ethan like a trophy. I drifted near the bar, picked up a drink I didn't want, and turned my back toward them. I wasn't ready, not yet. But my pulse betrayed me. A voice beside me said, you always hated these things. I turned. Liam Hayes, his brows furrowed. Wait, Aria. I took a sip. That obvious? You're supposed to be in Spain, am I? That's what Ethan said. Ethan says a lot of things. His voice dropped. You disappeared. Everyone thought I was broken. I know. He blinked. You're not broken now. No. I'm remodeled. He leaned in. Does he know you're here? He looked right at me and didn't blink. You changed. I had to. Liam looked over at Ethan. He's different too. Sharper. Meaner. Since you left. Maybe he lost the part of him that was pretending. You think Mira made him worse? I met Liam's eyes. He was always that way. She just gave him an excuse. He sighed. People still wonder why you vanished. That's the point. What brought you back? I smiled. Closure. That sounds dangerous. No, precise. He narrowed his eyes. You planning something? Would it matter if I was? Depends on who gets burned. I'm not here to play with fire. Liam, I am the fire. He whistled low. Damn. I glanced toward Ethan. What's he doing now? Running a few shell companies. One's legit. The rest, shaky. I left before it got dirty. Good choice. You want intel. I want truth. I might still have some of that. Then let's talk again. Somewhere quieter. He nodded. Text me. Burner phone, I assume, obviously. I started to turn away, but he grabbed my arm. One more thing. What? He kept your photo on his old phone. I stared. Why? He said it reminded him not to trust anyone. I laughed. Typical. He never told Mira. Of course not. Even liars keep their trophies hidden. Liam released my arm slowly. You're really not the same girl. No, I said. She died the night they buried me in lies. I walked away before he could reply. I didn't need more words, just time and precision. The cafe was half empty. Rain tapped the windows like nervous fingers. I picked a corner booth. Back to the wall. Old habits. My eyes drifted to the door, waiting. She walked in with a beige coat. Hair in a loose braid. Glasses fogged, still quiet. Still Ivy Dutch. She spotted me and paused just enough to gather herself, then came over and sat. Still take your coffee black? She asked, with a shot of something bitter, I said. To match the memories, she offered a small smile, still dramatic and still standing. We sat in silence for a second before she pulled a USB from her coat pocket and placed it on the table between us. He didn't delete everything, she whispered. My throat went dry. What is it? Emails, contract drafts, password logs, copies of forged approvals with your name on them. My hand hovered over the drive. How did you? I backed up everything before I left. You weren't the only one they tried to ruin. You believed me. I never stopped. My fingers wrapped around the USB. It felt heavier than it looked. I was so sure no one did. They made it hard to speak up, she said. I almost lost my job. My apartment. I did lose everything. I know. I stared at the tiny piece of plastic between us. Mira lied under oath. She said you authorized the transfer. I wasn't even in the office that day. I know. Ethan forged my signature. I have proof of that too. His old assistant sent me scanned copies, quietly. She's terrified. So was I said. And it cost me everything. Ivy leaned in. Why now? Why come back? Because it's time someone held them accountable. You sure you're ready? I've been ready for 2 years. I just needed the evidence, and now you have it. I held up the drive. Now I have a weapon. She nodded. You planning to go public? Not yet. I want them to feel the ground shift first. What do you need from me? Just this, I said. In your silence, you'll get both. We sipped our coffee, silence folding around us again. You know, she said. After you left, he laughed. I blinked. What? He said you were predictable, emotional, that no one would believe you. My hands tightened around the cup. He was right. Back then. But not now. No, I said. Now I know exactly who I am. I looked at her. Why help me, Ivy, after all this time? She looked down. Because I watched them bury you and I didn't stop it. You were scared. I was a coward. No, I said softly. You were surviving. She glanced at the USB. So what happens now? I make them wish I'd stayed buried. Ivy's lips pressed into a line. Just don't become like them. I won't. You sure? I'm not here to become a monster. I'm here to expose them. Good, she said, because I think the world's ready to listen now. I tucked the drive into my coat pocket. Then let's make sure they hear every word. She was already seated when I walked into the bistro. Oversized sunglasses, perfect posture. A glass of rose untouched in front of her. I approached slowly, my voice light. Mind if I join you? The place is packed. She glanced up, briefly annoyed, then smiled. Go ahead. I sat across from her, heart pounding, face still. She didn't recognize me. Not yet. Nice ring, I said, nodding toward the diamond on her finger. She flicked her hand carelessly. Thank you. Ethan picked it out. Of course he did. You. To look comfortable, I said. She smirked. We are. When you win, everything fits naturally. I raised an eyebrow. When what exactly? Her lips curled. The game, the man, the life. And what did it cost? She tilted her head. Excuse me. Never mind, I said. I was just thinking, sometimes getting everything means losing something more important. She sipped her wine. Sounds like something losers say. I smiled. Maybe. She leaned in slightly. You don't seem familiar. Have we met? I met her gaze. I don't think you ever really knew me. A flicker. A twitch at the corner of her mouth. Still. She pushed forward. Well, I know a lot of people. My husband runs in high circles. I know, I said. I used to be part of that circle. She blinked. Then laughed. Were you? I didn't answer. You know, she said, stirring her drink now. There was this girl I used to know. Sweet, soft-spoken, Always one step behind. Sounds familiar. She thought she had everything, job, fiancé, future. But she didn't see what was right in front of her. I kept my eyes on hers. And what was that she wasn't strong enough to hold onto it? My chest burned. Or maybe she didn't realize her best friend was sharpening knives behind her back. The color drained from her face. You know, I said quietly, I've always wondered. Did you ever feel guilty? Her jaw tightened. About what? About what you did to her, she shrugged. She was weak. Someone else would have crushed her if I hadn't. I leaned in. No, she was loyal. Her lips parted, but no words came. I kept going. She would have burned the world for you. And you? I laughed. Bitter, you handed her over to the fire. She didn't deserve him, Mira said. Voice colder now. She wasn't right for that life. And you were? I asked. I knew how to survive. She said. She didn't. You didn't steal him. I whispered. You stole who I used to be. Her hand trembled slightly. You're her. I stood. Not anymore. She stood too. Aria, wait. We were friends. No, I said. Eyes sharp. You were a mirror. I was a light. You just reflected what I gave you. She looked stunned. I came here to see if you ever felt sorry, I said. You don't. You came here to punish me. No, I said. That part comes later. I turned to leave. Aria? I didn't stop. I couldn't. If I did, I'd break. Liam sat across from me, eyes darting around the quiet cafe. I slid the USB across the table. What's this? He asked. Proof. He picked it up slowly. Of what? Forgery, fraud, perjury. Take your pick. He blinked. You're saying Ethan pinned all that on you? I nodded once. That's why I vanished. He stared at the USB like it might bite him. And you've had this the whole time? No. Ivy kept it. She believed me. He glanced up. I always wondered. What happened? No one ever told the full story. Because they didn't want anyone to know the truth. He leaned in. And now? Now I want them to choke on it. Liam exhaled. You want me to take this to the cops? Not just any cop, I said. Detective Roland, Financial Crimes Division. You think he'll bite? He's already been watching Ethan's filings. He just needs a push. Liam hesitated. You sure you're ready for this? I've been ready since the day they buried me alive. 3 days later, Liam called. His voice buzzed with static and something else fear. Maybe. He opened the files, Liam said. He's calling it an act of concern, and Ethan, lawyers, lots of them. But the detective wants more. He's circling. I smiled. Good. They know something's wrong. Mira's already spiraling. She was yelling at him in front of the courthouse. Poetic, I said. She screamed something about covering for him and not going down alone. People were watching. Let them? You sound calm. I am. Liam lowered his voice. They're going to figure out this came from you. No, I said. It came from karma. 2 nights later, I took the long way home. Past the bookstore, the gelato shop, the bench by the river. And then I saw him. Ethan. Alone. Walking toward me under the streetlight. Hair slicked back, suit perfect, jaw tight. My heart didn't race. It slowed. He slowed too, eyes narrowing. Excuse me, he said, voice uncertain. Do I know you? I tilted my head. Not anymore. He stared at me for a beat too long. You look familiar. I get that a lot. Wait. I started to walk away. He followed. Hold on. Have we met? I turned slightly. Once. Before you destroyed everything good in your life. His face twitched. Aria? I didn't blink. Wrong girl. He stepped forward. If this is about... I raised a hand. It's not about you anymore. He frowned. What do you want? I smiled. Nothing you could ever give me. He opened his mouth. But no words came. I stepped around him and kept walking. The silence behind me felt louder than any apology. And sweeter. The knock came just after midnight. 3 slow, uneven hits like guilt couldn't find its rhythm. I didn't move at first. Another knock. Then his voice. Aria, please open the door. I exhaled slowly and walked to the PEPHOLE. Ethan. Wet from the rain, collar turned up, face pale under the hallway light. I unlocked the door but didn't open it all the way. You shouldn't be here. I had nowhere else to go. That's not my problem. He leaned against the frame. I know what you did. I did what was necessary. You ruined me. I opened the door wider. Did I forge your signature? Did I lie in court? Did I destroy your life with a smile? He flinched. You don't understand. No. I said. I do. Why are you doing this? I stared at him. You left me for dead, he blinked. I thought you went to Spain. That's what you told people. You disappeared. What was I supposed to think? You didn't think, I snapped, you acted. You threw me to the wolves and walked away clean. I panicked, you planned. He stepped forward. Aria? I held up a hand. Don't say my name like it still belongs to you, his voice broke. I lost everything, the contracts. The partners, Mira's gone, good? He rubbed his face. You don't care, I cared. Back when it mattered, I didn't. No, they'd take it this far. You were the one who started it. He dropped to his knees. Just like that, on the dirty hallway floor. I'm sorry, he whispered. I don't know who I became. I looked down at him. You became exactly who you always were. His shoulders shook. I thought you'd forgive me. I crouched slowly. Just close enough for him to hear me. I forgave myself. That's enough. I loved you. He choked. No. You loved owning me. His eyes brimmed with tears. How did you survive? I died, I said. And then I built a new me, one who doesn't need permission to breathe. He reached for my hand. I pulled it back. I'm not here for closure. I whispered. I'm here for consequences. I'm broken. So was I. He looked up. What do you want from me? Nothing. You're really going to leave me like this? Yes, no mercy, I stood. You didn't leave room for mercy when you left me to rot. He stayed kneeling, lips trembling. Please, just tell me how to fix it. You can't. His head dropped. I watched him for a beat longer, then stepped back inside. Aria? I didn't answer. I just closed the door. Slow. Steady. Final. I can't believe it, Ivy whispered. Eyes wide as a launch screen blinked to life on the projector. It's real. I smiled. It's ours. She squeezed my hand. You named it Phoenix. Felt right. Because you rose from the ashes. I nodded. And because I set the match myself. Liam leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching the room buzz. I told you. People were ready to follow someone honest. You're not just a silent partner anymore, I said. He raised a brow. You need me louder. I laughed. Maybe. Just enough to handle the press. Ivy turned. Speaking of Ethan's trial starts next week. I know. He tried to stall it again. He won't get far. Mira filed for divorce. I looked at her. She was always going to run once the ship sank. She also tried to sell some of his assets. Let them eat each other. I said, I'm done watching. Ivy looked around the office. This place, it's clean, honest. It had to be. You think people will trust us? They don't have to. I trust me later. I sat across from Talia one last time. She handed me tea. So? You're really done with therapy for now. She smiled. You look different. I feel different. Did it heal you? I paused. Not just the revenge, the knowing. The proving to myself I didn't disappear, I evolved. You did. I didn't just survive, Talia. I built something. Justice tastes good. It tastes earned. She looked at the pendant I was holding. What's that? A feather, I said. Phoenixes leave behind ashes and reminders, symbolic much, always. She chuckled. So what now? Now I live. Quietly. Loudly. However I want. And Ethan? He'll face what he created, and you? I smiled. I'll keep creating. Back at my desk. I placed a feather pendant beside my laptop. Light glinted off the tiny gold edges. I whispered. You buried me and then, louder. But I didn't die.